I know it's kind of off topic, but in your PE classes, has Mr. Sikander talked about spike ball?
No.
Has he showed you spike balls?
Yeah. Sounds like the funnest game.
It was pretty fun. Instead of teacher collaboration time on Monday, we had a spike ball tournament. It was pretty fun. It was like volleyball with...
You talking about cage ball?
No, it's called spike balls. It's like
Oh,
volleyball.
like that thing? Yeah.
You hit a little ball on a little trampoline, and
Yeah.
it's harder than it looks.
Mr. Sikander's got mad at me about wearing flip-flops.
Yeah.
And then I told him it's like
So anyway, look up spike ball when you get home on the World Wide Web. It's kind of fun.
Do you know you could buy a tank on Amazon?
I did not know that.
You can.
Standard deviation. There's two things we're talking about today: variance
It's part of my ratio.
and standard deviation. Both of which are what are known as measures of spread. So last time we talked about mean, median, and mode. Those were called measures of central tendency. All three of those describe kind of what's happening in the middle of your data. Measures of central tendency. These next two measurements, variance and standard deviation, the reason they're called measures of spread is they describe... Oh, what's a good way of putting this? They describe how spread apart your data is from the middle. So if all of your data points are close to the average, then you have a really low standard deviation. If your data points are spread a little bit farther away from the average, then you have a higher standard deviation. So it's called a measure of spread. And it's quite a task. So if you're not busy for the next 20 minutes, we're going to find the standard deviation of this one problem. If you're not otherwise occupied by tweeting something stupid. So write these 5 numbers down. 6.9, 8.7, 7.6, 4.8, and 9.0. There are a few steps here, and I've got them spread around here. This is step 1 of, well, I don't want to tell you, it's depressing. So we'll just say step 1. We'll take it one step at a time, baby steps. So step 1, find the mean. What mean I by that? What's the mean? Average. Go ahead and find it. You guys can do that. Just to prepare you for what's coming up, it would be in your best interest if you didn't find the average by hand, but that you found the average on your calculator using the statistics feature.
Oh, this thing, okay.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, if you type these numbers into your list and go to calculate one variable statistics, it should tell you the average, the little X with the bar above it. That's what that is. What does it tell you? So Austin, you're Austin. Dan only got 7. It still happens. You got 7.4. Anybody else get 7.4? Anybody? What's that? I know. So we get 7.4. Are we in agreement? Okay. That's step 1. You find the average. All right. Now let me repeat what I said a few moments ago. the variance and the standard deviation is a measurement of, on average, how far each number is away from the mean. So if I want to find out how far each of these numbers are from the average, what do I have to do? Say that louder. Yeah, if I want to find out how far away each of these numbers are from the average, I have to subtract the average from each of them. So that's step 2. Subtract the average from each of the numbers. I'm feeling the love here. I'm glad you guys enjoy this process. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? It's true. I am not the complaint department. That's down the hall. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see some application. So Mason, did you fess up?
Yeah.
I just couldn't take the picture of myself in the mirror any longer. I had to get it off the wall. I know. Well, you got to realize anybody that would do that, their IQ is probably less than 10 anyway. So you can't really blame them for thinking it was a good idea, because even that they have an idea for them is something good, because they're functioning on such low brain power. It's true. I'm being dead serious. Anybody who thinks that would be a good idea, they've got a great future in the prison, in the state prison. So I'm happy that my future tax dollars will support their lifestyle in prison.
I know. Your life in prison is a lot easier than life anywhere else. They feed you. You gotta go to the bathroom. You get a workout. You get
So what? Are you justifying their actions?
Yes, going to prison is an awesome deal.
All right.
You don't have to work, and you get like everything.
You don't get everything.
You get food. You get
You
water.
have a family yet?
They can visit you.
I don't think you really understand what prison's like. Yeah. So what's 6.9 minus 7.4? Negative 0.5. All right. 8.7 minus 7.4. 1.3. All right. 7.6 minus 7.4. 0.2. 4.8 minus 7.4. Negative 2.6. And 9.0 minus 7.4. Okay. So that's how far away you need to square. Well, that's step 3. Now, all of these steps have a purpose. Step 2 was to figure out how far away each number is from the average. Step 3, the problem here is we've got negatives and we've got positives. That makes a bit of an issue, because eventually we're going to have to find an average. The standard deviation is the average distance away from the mean. And if we have positives and negatives, then it's possible that we add these all together and get 0. And then 0 divided by, it doesn't work to have negative values. So we square everything in that list. What happens when we square a number, even if it's negative? It becomes positive. So step 3 ensures that we have a positive value. All right, so help me out here. Negative 0.5 squared. Positive 0.25. Okay, good. 1.3 squared? 1.69. 0.2 squared is 0.04. Negative 2.6 squared is 6.76. See, we're having fun? This is great work. And 1.6 squared. What was it? 2.56. Thank you. Okay. Oh, man. We're almost to the halfway point of this one problem. Step 4. Square. Actually, you guys might be able to come up with step 4. You're pretty clever here.
Well, let me repeat one more time what our purpose is. The standard deviation and the variance is a measurement of, let me just say this very clearly, on average, how far away each number is from the middle. You guys hear that?
What? Sorry.
This is how far away each number is from the middle or from the mean. But the purpose of the standard deviation and the variance is to say, on average, how far away is each number from the middle. So what are we going to do with all these numbers? Okay, so step 4 is to add all the numbers. So you guys are clever. You don't need me. You can teach yourself. That would make my life a lot easier.
Why would you be getting paid if you weren't teaching?
I don't know. I'd come up with a reason.
Then you will actually be our babysitter.
Yeah.
Then we can complain.
And then divide by how many numbers there are. So if you add these all up, you get 11.3, I believe. And then you divide by however many numbers there are. So you divide by the number of numbers. In this case, there's 5 numbers. So you do 11.3 divided by 2.6.
What did I say? Oh, I'm out of it. It's 11.3 divided by 5 equals 2.26. Well,
No. You said we were almost there.
we're almost to halfway.
So that's the page.
I know. Yeah, you guys remember the quadratic formula?
Like to know.
X equals, let's say it, X equals, hold on.
Hi, Leroy. Should I add this message to the front office for just a quick moment, please?
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so X equals opposite B plus or minus the square root of B squared minus 4AC all over 2A. Okay, so you don't have to use the quadratic formula for this.
Why did you tell us about it?
I'm just kidding. This is your variance right here. That's the variance. That is the answer, yes. That is the answer. So you are done. But it was good to review the quadratic formula.
You just scarred me.
Well, that's the variance. What are we missing? Okay.
So it's not that.
So this is the variance. Do you guys remember the law of cosines? You don't have to use law of cosines. You don't have to use law of cosines. But do you remember it? Okay. Just checking. The standard deviation is, pause for effect. The standard deviation is the square root of the variance. So if you take the variance 2.26 and square root it,
I feel like you need to write step 6 because
that is step 6, isn't it?
Step 6. The standard deviation is the square root of the variance.
Man,
is that supposed to be an equal sign or a squiggly sign?
it's approximate. 2.26 square root of that is approximately 1.1 or 1.5. Man, this phrase, the standard deviation is the square root of the variance. If somebody came in right as I was saying that phrase, I'm like, what the heck is he talking about? But you guys understand clearly what we're talking about, right? Huh. Now, just curious, did anybody find the average using the statistics feature of their calculator of these 5 numbers? If you did, I need you to go to that screen again. So stat, the first 5 numbers. So we've got 6.9, 8.7, 7.6, 4.8, and 9. So go to stat, calculate, enter, enter, enter. This is probably where you got your average from, right? 7.4? Oh, you're going to love this. You see where my finger's pointing? That's the standard deviation.
You just like
Yeah.
the thing.
There's the standard deviation right there. Why didn't you guys just use the calculator?
Why do you tell us?
And if you square it, that gives you the variance. Yeah? So I'm just going to tell you, nobody ever finds the standard deviation by hand. Ever. They use a calculator. Well, you guys just did. But if you're asked to find standard deviation, you do it on the same calculator. Okay? So, you need to recognize the symbol about that funky looking O and an X. That's the symbol for standard deviation. Okay?
Wasn't that fun?
It was really hard for me to keep a straight face, knowing that it could just be done on a guy. It was really hard. I'm glad you guys made it through that. So, go to page.
Sorry, I don't feel confused.
Go to page 16. I want you to practice the problem 1 Goddard problem.
I still think it's funny that the sage has a braille. Doesn't make any sense to me because it's on a computer. So how would you do it with braille? Why don't you read it aloud? So that he indicated to read it right out loud. Like there is a writing symbol and a different option to read. Yes. I gotta go steal some minutes out the bathroom.
Yeah, for sure. The problem 1 got it. Page 16.
I'll bring you one, don't worry. I swear, if you want to. That was murder.
Is anybody a real trooper and say, I'm going to do this by hand, dang it?
Can I get extra credit if I do that?
You don't have the pioneer spirit in you?
Yeah, I crossed the border. I wasn't.
You turn your own butter, you wash your clothes by hand.
No. That wasn't us.
Really good reason.
Arms into butter.
Yeah.
Put butter into arms. We turned a couple butters from it. It's a little creepy. It doesn't surprise me that you're one of those people who eat the butter just
What?
my cousin, like they had moved from New York to where I live. Big culture shock. So it was really funny watching it. But they just grabbed a giant tin butter and started eating it.
Plain butter?
Yeah.
And that's a normal occurrence over there?
Apparently.
Oh, man.
No wonder why.
Yeah.
Isn't it ironic that the nation's two biggest problems are starvation and obesity?
So you're saying the people who are starving should eat the obese people? Is that your solution?
Here's my question. If you eat a zombie, is that cannibalism? And would you become a zombie?
No. If you eat a zombie, you wouldn't become a zombie. It has to scratch you. Haven't you ever seen Walking Dead?
So that if you eat it, would it be considered cannibalism? Because they're no longer human, they're zombies.
Yeah, but it's
Like, they're no longer referred to as human. Like, it's the Walking Dead zombie.
but you could cure it.
You could cure it. Well, who's going to take the cure?
All right, we're digressing. We're deviating from the course.
Whatever. You guys are going to die.
I'm not going to become a zombie. So you become a zombie. I wouldn't even
Come on, people. This is like a 30-second problem.
Oh, step 6? Oh, yeah, I forgot we were supposed to be doing this.
You type a couple of numbers into your calculator, you hit enter a couple of times, and you look to get the answer. Okay? It's easy enough for the typical high school student to be able to handle.
He is slow. It's going to end up being disabled. You guys are going to get
So-
bad about yourselves.
What do we get? What'd you get? For the standard deviation, what'd you get? So you got 10.73? What do I got? That's what you got? Yeah. I haven't heard from this side of the room over here. So
Yes, that's what we got.
10.73. You didn't get anything.
I got 10.7.
All right.
Would you look at that?
What's your grade?